My male moved in with us a month ago. I began to notice my stuff in the bedroom being touched. Furniture rearranged, stuff moved, etc. I felt like I was going crazy because my husband is the only one who has access to the bedroom and he doesn't usually touch nor come near my things. I figured it must be his mom walking in and snooping on my personal things. I told my husband and he said his mom would never. I had a huge hunch but couldn't install a cam in the bedroom to catch her in act. So, I got me one of those fake positive pregnancy tests and threw it in the bedroom's trash can. Note the trash can was placed in the corner near the closet. Literally the next day after I got to work, I got tons of calls and texts from my in-laws congratulating me for my pregnancy. My husband came over to my workplace and was all worked up about it, asking since when I was pregnant, and why I didn't tell him. I asked how he found out and he said his mom found the positive test in the trash can in the bedroom. I asked if his answer just confirmed that she's been snooping in the bedroom all along. He had a realization moment but demanded we stick to the bigger issue. I said there was no bigger issue because the positive test was fake and this whole thing was done to expose my Mill's snooping. He was not convinced. He had me take an actual test right in front of him and he was livid, asking how could I lie about such thing and break his mom's heart since I know very well that she longs for kids. I got a lot of shit because of this from him, his mom and family now calling me a liar and manipulator. Ada? Important info, nothing gets takes or goes missing from the bedroom. Just to be clear. My wife, 28, and I, 36, are expecting our first baby. 3 years ago my wife decided she desperately wanted a cat. I hate cats and all animals in the house really, so I was against it. She wouldn't stop talking about, so finally we made a deal she could get a cat but it was her responsibility, I would have nothing to do with it. She agreed. She stuck to her word and I stuck to mine. I mostly ignore the cat. Now she is pregnant and asked me if I can scoop the litter until she give birth because of toxoplasmosis, but I looked it up and as long as she wears gloves and washes her hands she should be good. So I told her absolutely not. She wasn't happy but I reminded her of our agreement when we got the cat. I told her it was her responsibility and if she didn't want to take care of it anymore with the new baby coming we can get rid of it and find it a new home. She said no and has been scooping the litter. Her sister was over and saw her doing this and flipped out at me telling how dangerous it is. But of course her sister is going to be on her side and overreact. I never wanted the cat so I don't see how I'm wrong. My boyfriend had to go to the ER after an accident, and he got a truly ridiculous bill back. I offered to fight the bill for her because I've done it before, and he said sure. I went all out, because honestly if we were out $5,000, after insurance, that would fuck up our holiday plans pretty bad. So I had him call the hospital and authorize me to handle his bill and access his medical records. Got an itemized bill and compared the prices for each code to the fair prices. Called billing to dispute the bill, but was told that billing only collects bills. I'd need to contact admin to dispute. Bounced around a call center for hours trying to get someone who was actually qualified for bill disputes, and getting nowhere. Google and LinkedIn searched for the hospital board of directors and upper management. Got 30 emails of the most influential people at the hospital, plus the hospital's investors. Every day would send a few emails, working my way up the chain, and writing an increasingly long email describing how they billed my client at 7 times over the fair price for services rendered, and how their billing department, customer service department, and the growing list of management I'd emailed, had failed to address the issue. Escalated the emails until I was writing the director-level staff with the entire board of directors and a number of outside investors CC'd, asking for a written statement regarding their justification for billing at a rate 7 times higher than the national average, for commensurate services to what is available at other hospitals. And sternly laying out the failures to appropriately respond, at every level of the company. Well, once I'd done all that, which was honestly only like 15 minutes a day, they reduced the bill. From $5,000 to $26. Yep, $26 fucking dollars. Well, I told my boyfriend the good news, and he was at first overjoyed and blown away, like literally jumping up and down and hugging me and saying I was literally a Christmas miracle. But then when he asked how I did it, I said it wasn't too hard. I just had to send a couple emails each day. He was curious what I'd said, and I handed him my phone. He started to get stressed, and flipping back through other emails, which there were like 60 of. He told me I went way too far. He was expecting me to dispute through their billing department or something normal and reasonable like that, not internet stalk every single manager and board member and investor and harass them into dropping the bill. I was frustrated because I'd just saved us $5,000, actually made it possible for us to afford a nice Christmas and save some money, and he was mad at me because I'd been a bit of a hard ass. I was furious, and he was also mad at me, saying he authorized me to dispute a bill, not basically threaten and harass a whole damn hospital for weeks. Ada for how I got my boyfriend's medical bills dropped. My husband's family likes to drink. Every holiday includes multiple bottles of wine, cocktails. I hate drinking. I have never drank. My father was an alcoholic. I think it's childish if you can't have fun without drinking. This year I'm hosting Christmas for a change. I decided since it's at my house no alcohol allowed. We are all getting older and it's time to grow up. My husband's sister called to ask what she could bring. She saw a recipe for a Christmas martini that she wanted to bring. I told her about my no alcohol rule. She didn't say much but must have told the rest of the family. Some of them started texting me asking me if I was serious and saying that it is lame. But I'm not budging. Now it turns out my husband's sister is hosting an alternate gathering that almost everyone is choosing to go to instead. It's so disrespectful, all because they would have to spend one day sober. My husband told me he talked to his sister and we are invited to her gathering and he said we should just go and stop causing issues, but I won't. It's so rude. Now husband is mad because I'm making him stay home and spend Christmas with me, but it was my turn to host and I chose to have a no alcohol. They could have dealt with it for 1 year. My husband and I have been together for 4 years. I have 2 kids, 17 meters/19F. And their half-brother is 3 years old. This past week, my husband had an emergency, Dad had a medical emergency, and wanted someone to watch our son. He asked my older son and he refused because he was going out with friends. He also asked my daughter but she locked herself in her room to study. I was at the restaurant with my brother meeting his girlfriend for the first time. My husband ended up taking our son with him to the hospital and his mom watched him from there. He came home and was lashing out on everybody, calling us selfish and unfeeling. I tried to explain that the kids were busy but he told me to get the F out with that bull because my older son could have skipped the hangout and watched his brother and my daughter could have watched her brother while studying instead of locking herself in her room. He scolded me as well but I told him I couldn't leave lunch with my brother since he was visiting town and this was my only chance to meet his girlfriend. He yelled some more than told us that he was canceling the family holiday trip for Christmas this year. The 2 older kids were upset and said it was unfair. I called him unreasonable to cancel the trip and punish the kids, and possibly me, like that. He refused to discuss it later. Now me and the kids aren't speaking to him and he's saying good riddance. Edit. My husband was supposed to watch our son at the time. That's why I went to see my brother at the restaurant. The kids aren't used to watching their brother when neither parent is home. Update. My husband just told us that he'll be spending Christmas with his family, saying he needs to be around his dad anyway. The kids said they will just go to their dad since they and my husband are still not talking. Neither of the kids are happy with how things turned out. So I feel like things have gotten out of hand and the problem got bigger. He's now choosing to basically abandon us on Christmas and also keep our son away from me and his siblings. I'm still getting shit for this from my family, so it's possible I may be a bit of the here. I'm 29F, the players are my mom, stepdad, and 4 step siblings, 35M, 37M, 40F, 42M, and their families. I'm the black sheep in that I'm the only one not married with kids, but that's by my preference. I love living alone, I don't want kids, and having a partner just isn't that important to me. My family has been asking me when I'm going to get a boyfriend and settle down since I was 19 and the answer has always been no, never. I was going to skip Thanksgiving, but my mom insisted that she wanted everyone home this year if possible, so I went. It was the usual drill, but youngest stepbrother and his wife are having another kid, so that was the big announcement. This was fine until around the end of dinner one of the souls asks if I'm not anxious to have kids since I'm almost 30 and time is running out. I laughed and said nah, I'm good. That led to one of the stepbrothers saying that every family needs an old maiden aunt and some other comments I didn't appreciate. I said let's move on, but my mom said we're just worried about you. This is where I'm possibly the I know all the family dirt, so I said, well, I'm the only person at this table that's not an alcoholic, a cheater, or constantly broke half because I have more kids than I can afford, so I'm not the one to worry about. And that's how I brought Thanksgiving to a dead halt and no one said a thing for the rest of dinner, but my texts are radioactive still. I feel like it was probably riding the line, and my mom says this has caused a lot of problems among the siblings, but also they kinda started it.